Hey, Junebug. Give me a second. I'll take a step away from all this paperwork. One thing I didn't do is build a frickin' little door for this. Well, I did ask the elementals to build me a desk, and that they did. I just forgot to ask them, hey, also, can you put in a place for me to get in and out? But, well, we got flight rooms for a reason.
Good thing you just can
How you
climb over
holding
it
up,
as well.
That's true. Just covered in paperwork right now. Oh, well. How are you after everything? I know we didn't have much of a chance to talk after, well, that one. We were helping that one lady and, you know, fixing all the diseases that was stuck in her.
I'm okay. The fight was scary. Never expected to see a Daedra.
Yeah,
Or get
and
hurt.
if it were up to me, and if it were up to me, I would have never let that happen. But I'm sorry I wasn't there to, well, keep you safe.
It's okay. I'm glad I was able to help, though. I'm glad. I'm glad Rift is okay. I was scared that he was gonna get hurt, but he's okay.
Well, that's the benefit of having amazing people like you there at our side. Even if we do get hurt, we do have wonderful healers that can put us back together. Conflict will always arise and injuries will always happen. But what gives us the confidence and the courage to keep going is having wonderful people like you there who have dedicated their time and their magical skills to learning how to keep us safe and to keep us going.
Well,
Healers are one of the foundations of a battlefield. If with no healers, many people would not get a chance to keep going.
Well, I'm still learning how to heal. It's just I'm good at it for some reason. I don't even know why.
Just another thing that we'll experience together, hopefully, of learning where your magical prowess comes from and helping you along the way. Here, I got a dinner set up for us. I know you're probably starving after everything. I wanted to talk with you for a bit, but just wanted to chat with you for a bit.
Okay.
Oh, we don't mind. I got big portions, and I didn't know exactly your dietary restrictions, so I got one of everything.
It's okay. I don't really know mine either.
Well, by all means.
Thank you.
Chicken leg to start.
It's like the size of my head.
I'm gonna scoot it. Yeah, well, enjoy. And again, if you don't have to eat all of this, this is just I wanted to present a feast. One for a job well done today. I'm really proud of you today.
You did good too. I saw you helping everybody, and I saw you telling Oliver that he needs to fight.
I wanted to help him be the kind of person he wanted to be. I know he wants to protect people, and he wants to prove that those that gave him faith were worthwhile.
Yeah.
I understand people investing in you, and you want to make them proud. And I understand that well, battles can be terrifying. I've kind of grown numb to them. God, I've been fighting as long as I can remember. Fighting at least one thing or another. But the point is, sometimes having the right people in your corner can make all the difference in the world. Because, well, when you've got something like this to fight for, when you've got wonderful people to fight for, but the enemy in front of you is terrifying, it helps to know that you have people beside you, backing you, and all those that want to help you go forward. And
Yeah.
I know that some people need help in different ways. Some people are incredibly strong, but are never really given the chance to feel like they matter, that they're just a tool of destruction. Look at Tama, for example. She's one that she's the strongest I can imagine. And, well, she still needs a lot of help. Her family didn't necessarily treat her very well. And so I wanted to I want to show her that people do care for her. People do love her. And people want to see her safe. Everybody needs help with something. They either need help with the physical training, they need help with confidence, they need help with feeling like they belong, and feeling, well, like they matter. I mean, you've seen my massive family. I'm trying to give to as many people as I can. I want to give back to people who have made my life so enriched. And actually, this is another reason why I was hoping to grab you a little early, and when everybody else is still probably relaxing and gathering at the taverns.
Mm-hmm.
From what you have explained to me, you, I don't think, got to know your parents very well. You've known slavery since a very early age. And that's something I would never wish on anybody. Something that this whole city fights to prevent. To prevent slaves from being made, to save slaves that have been made, and all of the like. And I know that there's some things that necessarily can't be given through freedom. You can be free, but it's the people in your freedom that'll make the difference. Because you can have as many friends as you wish, but there are some connections that can only be made by someone, well, offering. And again, this is only an offer that I present to you. I understand how important having a father figure is. Ironically, I never really had one myself well, I can't say that fully. I had people that I looked up to in my earlier years, and still have people that I look up to even now. I understand how important it is and how empowering it is to have someone, something, a banner to look up to. And I know that you are an ally of Autometh and a citizen of the Glass City, but not to say that you're not an adult, but you're also still quite young for an adult. You're 19 the last time you told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met many your age that, while they're free to make their own life choices, still young in their adventuring career, and still, well, could still use good mentors to guide them. And if you would like. An offer set on the table. This key is an offer. If you would like, you could have me as a guardian, or a father, or a mentor. However you would like to see me, I will be there for you, and you can always count on me to help you. This key is to your own private room. I know we've got you set up in the tavern over there, but that would have you a key. That would have you a room in the glass tower, your own private room, customized to everything that you would like. We would make sure that everything is how you'd like it, down to the wood grain. You don't have to say yes right away, or you can say no. This is an offer. Many people have turned me down, and I've had many people have turned me down for my offers of wanting to help people. And I've never looked at them any differently. I want to help as many people as I can. And sometimes I know that to help people more is to give them something that they never really had.
I don't really
And again,
remember my
you don't have
family
to.
too much. He just looks like Junebug just looks like he's about to cry. I don't really remember too much of it, but I mean, I wouldn't really know what it's like to have a father figure, somebody to not somebody to look up to. I look up to Ice like a big sister. She was the only one there for me when nobody else was. She cared for me, she would heal me instead of healing herself.
She's a very good soul, and it's the reason why so many people fought to get her back. And I'm glad through the right circumstances, we were able to help you too, and many of the freed slaves from Mr. B. They all deserve a second chance. And a chance to have an enriched life, rather than just a life of survival. Which is what I want to offer you. You've chosen to stick with us. You've chosen to help us. You've been with us on the front lines now. You helped fight against the Daedra. You helped heal people who were wounded. You've proven that you're not letting your slavery be a shackle anymore.
I don't want it to be a shackle.
Of course. And you deserve to have a life that was taken away from you at an early age. You deserve to have more than what was done to you. Again, the key is there. You don't have to accept it now. And again, you can say no. The key is yours regardless. But the key comes with a promise that I will be there for you.
You're the first person I've ever trusted besides Ice. I feel safe around you.
That makes me feel really happy.
I forgot I had makeup. Place face on. Yoink. Pocket sounds. Turn this off.
So,
Yeah.
come here, my boy. Come here. I'm glad that you said yes. So, would you like to see me as a guardian, a mentor, or a father? I leave that to you.
I don't know. You've been here helping me through everything. You've been, what I assume, acting like a dad. So I guess, like that.
Then, my boy, you are my son. And I am proud of you. And I will love you until the day that I die. Proud of you, kiddo.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Want to keep eating before the food gets cold?
Yeah.
I think we both deserve a little bit of a meal. Oh, and also, along with the room, I'll make sure to fill it with whatever else that you'd wish. And you can expect an allowance. I give 20 gold a day to my kids.
Okay.
I know it's not much. I know it's
That's
not much, but it's enough. It's enough to, if you ever need any food from the tavern, if you ever need any supplies from alchemists or healers or anything of the like, you can get them.
that's a lot of gold, at least in my eyes.
Sorry about that. Not wanting to overwhelm you. Just, well, as you can see, luckily we're making a good amount of money. I've got my distillery processing and, well, I've got my brew making more so because I've got my fire whiskey, my fire wines, and other kinds of alcoholic creations that I've been able to help make through many people's help. And a lot of sales have been going well. Plus, we have the agricultural guild helping me because I've got my own set of land out there, and with that, I'm able to sell foods to people that need them. So we're able to get a lot of money coming into the city. And I just take a bit off the top for my own personal needs. I'm not rich by any means, but luckily enough, we're comfortable here. So you'll never have to worry about if there's going to be food on your plate, drink in your glass, or a roof over your head. This place is ours, and nothing's going to take that away from us. You will always have a home, you will always have family, and you'll always have a place to grow.
And I can't wait to see what comes next.
Oh, yeah. And also, you have now a massive family list of other siblings that you can count on too. Because I have now, I believe, 12? No, 11. I have 11 people in the direct family. Had to write down. I've had to make sure to write everything down. It is. Well, Poppy's my wife. Ira and Ari, the Goblin twins. They're my daughters as well. Amberleaf. She actually asked me to adopt her. Lovely enough. Snowy. I don't think you've met this one yet, but she's been a bit under the weather, so she hasn't had a chance really much to come to Aether and the like. Fee, the little phoenix harpy. Velvet, haven't met her yet. Well, unless you've met the little fire goblin. She's in and out between her place and here. Tama, obviously you've met. And Alex, little scare bear. she's been a bit busy. She's been looking at as a resident of the Fey Dark, they reproduce, I believe, asexually, so they basically can make their own kids. She had children, so she's looking after them. So it's understandable. She's probably not around for a bit. My first son, Blue Jay, fantastic. I think you'll get along really well, and he's also a bard too. Amazing player at the lute. And then Sylvie, who is my niece. So
I kind of forgot
all of
that
them,
you
I hope.
adopted Tama. Does that mean she's not gonna try to eat me anymore, or she's still gonna try to eat me? Because she tried eating me the first day. I think. It was scary.
She's playful like that. Yeah, she's playful like that. She comes from a very rough and tumble kind of place. So that's kind of her way of playing.
Okay.
She likes to get the fear from people because she's a warrior, and all she's really known is combat. So playing with people is a bit uniquely different for her. She's a very playful in the sense of she likes playing tricks on people. She likes scaring people, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think she'd want to actually hurt you.
Okay.
I don't think she might hurt you in the sense of, I don't know, she might bite your ear playfully, but you might be like, that kind of thing.
Hope not.
She won't bite your ears off. She might just be like, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Everybody has different ways of how they play with people, but she's going through a lot, and the last thing I would want to do is to make her feel like she doesn't have anybody that she can count on or help her when she needs it. So that's what I try to do. Actually, on the grand scheme of things, now that you've accepted me as your guardian, would you like to hear a little bit about me, so you know the kind of person that is going to be looking out after you?
Sure.
I take it the sitting down as he. So, this crazy story of mine starts off, I can't remember how long ago, but currently, this is my second time going through life. There was one time that I lived another life. This armor, for example, is proof of that. I, much like any other fire elementals, started off in the plane of fire. Easy enough. And learning about the worlds around me and everything else, I came across a kingdom of fire in the realm of fire, ruled by a king of fire. Small little kingdom on its own. And unfortunately, the name of the king escapes me. But we had one goal in mind: to unite kith and kin of Burning Heart, to bring together people that shared in the same visions as the king. And through hard, grueling training, I eventually became one of his Ember Knights. There was a lot of us, all of different creeds and races of those of fire. We banded together to stop people that were trying to hurt outer planar beings like ourselves. Mages and cults and all manner of individuals that would take beings like me and bind them, enslave them, sacrifice them, for their own nefarious deeds. I went on many campaigns against many people, did a lot of things I'm not proud of, but had to because we had to save lives. Had to end up killing a lot of our own people because those same slavers turned our people against each other. I've had to kill many of my own to set them free. And along my duties, I fell in battle. I can't remember what got me, but I remember it was one-on-one combat against another of my own. I could see the look in their eye. I can still remember the look in their eyes of sorrow, knowing that they were the ones that snuffed me out. My core, luckily enough, somehow survived. But it was cracked. It needed repair. And I don't know how much time had passed, but I was found by Macbeth. I believe you met the Lich King.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that I serve, even currently. I have this city, but he is still the one that saved me. Because he found my core. And while he couldn't repair me back to my full state, he was able to, with his magic, put me in a skeleton. Because he is a necromancer. He knows how to handle the dead. It was his attempt to try to save me. The cost, however, was me coming back, I'd lose all of my memories. That's a normal thing for when an elemental fully dies and comes back. But I had a chance of being saved. But I wasn't going to get my memories back until I became my old self again. I was back down to a peasant class elemental. You know, standard, hired goons you might find in dungeons, like fire skeletons, fire slimes, and all those other lower creatures. I say lower creatures, but you can kind of understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And my second life began. I didn't know who I was, where I came from, but I guess my personality kept the same. And I lived in his kingdom for a very long time. And in his kingdom, I learned what it meant to be a bard. I found a lovely undead singer. Sarah Graves, her name was. Sarah was an undead, and she dressed up very pretty and still sung wonderfully. If anything, she always said that death made her appreciate life so much more, and she wanted to share smiles with people. She wanted to make people happy. So I learned how to be a bard, learned how to make people smile, and then I went about my life. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the worlds. I traveled for 1,000 years, traveling from realm to realm, seeing as much as I could. One of those travels for 100 years or so, I stopped off at a little spot on the material plane and ironically found my first child there. His name was Benjamin, or rather I named him Benjamin, because I was just walking by a river and then I saw a carriage, or rather than a carriage, a basket floating down, and I heard crying coming from it. I dove in, rescued it. Painful experience jumping in water, but saved the kid anyway, because there was a waterfall right down the way, so didn't want that to happen. Or rather, rapids, so saved them. And I was just me and this little baby. who just wanted to live. So I gave him a name and I said I'd look after him. I continued my travels and I found a farming village. And I decided to stay there. Elementals like myself, we don't necessarily have time limits for how long we live. We're bound to the primordial energies that be. So we live as long as we can, but we often live dangerous lives. So when you see old elementals, they're alive for a reason. So went to this village, explained my case, and I chose to live there. I worked on the farms, I did what I could, and eventually I helped give this little child a future. You remind me a lot of him, actually. Brown hair, blue eyes. And I helped give him everything that he wanted. We got a house, lived on it for a good while. Finally helped give him the courage to help that old Sarah girl out, farm girl that he had a crush on. Poor boy, he was head over heels for her. And I just I taught him how to play a little bit on the lute, so that way he could play a song for her and ask her out. And fair to say, the old song worked. So they started living together. Then they had a family. It was me being a grandpa for the first time. I'm so proud. And getting to be there for the wedding. Oh, that was so much fun. I played for the entire night and just was so happy to see everybody so happy and enjoying themselves. Then over time, Benjamin and Sarah, they had a kid and named the little kid after me. It was so cute. They called him Jules, however. So it was little Jules, Julian. And yeah. And then Jules started to grow up. And then came a time where Benjamin was getting old in his years. I was there with him on his deathbed. He knew his time was coming. And oh God, I get teary-eyed every time I think of this. He asked me to play him one more song. And it was his favorite song. And the final note was when he closed his eyes for good. Oh, with a smile on his face, too. Oh. Sorry.
There's replacements. It's okay. He had a happy life.
Oh, yeah, he did. He told me he had everything he had ever wanted. All because a stranger chose to give him that second chance. I stuck around with the family to make sure that everything was okay, that he was cremated, and, well, we gave him a pyre's end. In honor of me, I guess. He wanted to be pired, so we gave him that. And then after a while, I still stuck around for a bit, making sure everything was okay, but I told the family that I still wanted to see a lot of the world, see what these worlds could offer. They were sad, of course, but they understood. And with that, I said my goodbyes, made sure the place was better than I left it, and then I left. And then there was another time. Spent a long time traveling, getting to know the different races. And then the greenskins, the goblinoids, orcs, goblins, ogres. I wanted to know why they lived the lives that they did. Like, what was it? Human oppression or other races making them so savage? So I wanted to try to live their lives. I was able to join I was able to join a clan. And it took a bit of convincing, but I mean, when you make alcohol, they were pretty easy to let me in on that one. So as long as I kept providing alcohol for them, they were happy to let the fireman in. And yeah. Then there was a time where there was I had a daughter. There was a kobold there. Her name was Pop, or because she she knew how to make explosives, so she got the name Pop because little bangs and pops for the explosives she could make. And she wanted to be part of this clan. And she was a real troublemaker, but she had a hard time kind of getting used to everything, getting used to what it meant to have a family. I stuck up for her and showed her what it meant to be a family. And when she understood how important family was, she changed her life around. Then the wars started. 4 years that war lasted. For me, it was a blink of an eye, but for them, it was a lifetime. Orcs live shorter lives than most, same with kobolds. And there was a pinnacle point in the war where one key target needed to be destroyed. I got lucky enough to sit on a lot of the meetings, and it was fascinating to me. It was a suicide mission, effectively. There was one key target that they had to destroy no matter what, or they were going to lose the war. In a room full of the toughest motherfuckers you would ever see, when the time came for who will take the charge, no one said a thing. This little kobold, Pop, said, "I'll do it." Everybody was stunned that this little kobold had more courage than an entire group full of brave, battle-hardened warriors. Now, we had to clear a path for her. And she was hiding in the bushes, making sure that she had her massive fucking bomb with her, that she was going to run in and detonate it. She couldn't set it up and then leave, because how she makes her bombs is she activates them and throws them. But the amount of power that this bomb was going to detonate, everybody in the vicinity was going to go up. So she didn't have a choice. She had to go detonate it and make sure that it wasn't destroyed at the last second. So that's why it was a suicide run. And she walked up to me and gave me the signal flare, one that had been looking after her for so long. She gave it to me because she said, "I don't trust anybody else. I trust you the most." And that's when I really knew I was going to have to cast up the signal flare to let my daughter die a hero. Probably one of the more painful things I've ever had to do. But I was there fighting. The warriors at the front shouted back to me. And that was my cue. Toss the signal flare up into the air. While everybody was looking up at the flare, it was that moment where she charged through the enemy lines, weaving, dodging, and there was me just cheering her on, making sure that she knew every step she took, I was proud of her. And then that fireball. The explosion was so powerful. It not only, like, it's hard to explain a fireball of that size. You look up, you look left, and you look right, and that fireball was still in your line of sight. It was massive. But thanks to that, the war turned in our favor, and we won. She was given, well, they made a statue in her honor. And I remember it clearly written on the bottom. Small in body, biggest of heart. Kobold, like, she was small even for normal kobolds. But she used everything she could to give back to those that she cared for. I asked her, why did you volunteer yourself? Why? Out of everybody. We could figure out something else. I remember it. She said, if we lose this war, we lose everything. I am happy to give up everything because I'm protecting everything I care for. And that was the second time that I lost an adoptive child. The third time, luckily enough, they came back. But I thought, after all my times, I thought I had lost a third child. There was a time in my travels that I got lost in the Feywilds. Feywilds is a very hard place to get out of once you get into it. Hard place to find it when you find it. I got lost in there. And actually, Fee was the one that I found in there. A couple people in the Feywilds were stuck, and we decided to band together. Kept together, survived, hunted together, the whole kit and caboodle. Lots of crazy stuff happened. And she was so lost, so alone. She was the only harpy there. And she had an affinity for fire. I helped teach her how to control her fire. And then eventually, through the influence of the Feywilds, she gained the power of the Phoenix. And so her powers grew even more. But there was a time where we were fighting some of the local denizens of the Feywilds, savage monsters, things like that. And I stayed behind to make sure that people could get away. They went on ahead, and I made sure to fight them and keep them back. When I defeated them and made my retreat, I think I made a wrong turn or something, and I got separated from everybody. I tried to find them again for a very long time, but the Feywilds are always twisting and turning. And so I continued on, thinking that I had lost her. Eventually I made my way out. I tried to find her. The Feywilds are a very cruel place. Time can work so differently there. Time can accelerate, time can slow. And I had no idea if she was, I don't know if every day that went by was a year for her, or 10, or 20, 100. There was a point that I couldn't find my way back to that point in the Feywilds when I got out. So I thought I lost the daughter that I never got a chance to say goodbye to. But I'm really glad that she's back, though. She managed to escape, and she made her way to Aether. That hat of hers that she wears. Does it look familiar? I gave her my old hat. I got another one. So she kept it, and she looked after it as best she could. Just made me eternally happy to see her again. And glad that I didn't lose a third child. Another thing, though, that you deserve to know. My life hasn't always been full of heroic triumphs and, good deeds. I've done terrible things as well. Some by accident, some on purpose. For one, those corrupted mages, well, they had support by people. Some of them had families. But we knew that if we had let them survive, they would just do what they could to try to hunt us down again. I'm not proud of those moments where I've had to take innocent lives. But I knew, in a point of war, you have to make the tough choices, because at the end of the day, it'll be them. You save them, and you run the risk of your family getting hurt. Or you kill them and eliminate the chance of them coming back. And there were times where we did let them live. And they did come back. And I lost a lot of good brothers and sisters, kith and kin, to their attacks. And I swore to myself that I would never make that same mistake twice. That if there was an enemy, make sure to eradicate them all, so I do not lose any more of my brothers and sisters. And then there were times where my anger has gotten the better of me. In my second life, I found Poppy. She manifested from my shadow, and we traveled together. It didn't mean that, since she manifested from my shadow, she was related to me. No. Shadow spirits naturally form from other people's shadows because they draw off that energy. Being a fire elemental, I cast pretty long shadows because I'm very bright. So my shadows were a little stronger. We traveled together. I showed her the worlds, showed her all the good that can come from all manner of things. But then we went to a village that hadn't seen a lot of outer planar beings before. So we were really odd. We were oddities to them. But before we had entered the village, I figured I would go out and I would hunt, try and get some food for them to show that we're good. And then Poppy, looking like more sociable, since I was a fire skeleton at the time, she was the little shadow spirit as she is, she'd probably be able to interact with people a little easier. She would go in, and as the healer as she is, she would tend to the sick and the wounded. I return, and I see her harpooned to the ground, unmoving. The locals had deemed her a monster and tried to kill her. I lost myself to my rage. And I don't remember much. But I remember her shaking me out of it as I was standing in the middle of in the middle of this village, and all I could see around me was fire. I learned I had set the forest around this village on fire, and then I was pulling the flames in so no one could escape. All I could see were charred bodies around me. They didn't have really good weapons or anything to really hurt me. So I just ended them all. Something that I regret doing, letting my anger get the better of me. What can I say? I'm a hothead. The fire elementals were beings of energy and passion and great rage. That's why I always try to keep myself tempered, so that way I never do that again. But you saw how cold-blooded I was when Ice got hurt, or when Ice was in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for scaring you like that back then. But I tell you this not to scare you. I tell you these things, I tell you these stories not to fear me and to make you regret the choices that you've wanted to have me as a guardian. But you deserve to know the person who wants to look after you. I'm just like anybody else who has made their mistakes in the past and is doing everything they can to make up for it. I don't see myself as like a perfectly flawless being or the perfect mayor or leader or anything else. I try to stay humble and I try to remind myself that I am just like anybody else. Everybody gives me this chance to be a leader because people want to follow me, I guess. And that is why I always present any adoptions as an offering. I never want you to feel like it's forced. I never want you to feel like it's pressured. I would care for you no matter what, even if you turned me down. A lot of my friends have turned me down. And I still care for them fiercely. And I fight just as hard to make sure everybody stays safe. I've done my ranting and rambling. Do you have any questions for me?
No. I'm sorry you had to go through all of that. And I'm glad you are better. You found the people you loved the most.
Yeah. There were times after my losses where I went into isolation and seclusion. But I had a lot of good people help me. They understood I was going through rough times and they never gave up on me. I would do my best to smile, do my best to be with them, do my best to enjoy the life that I still have. And that is why I respect Macbeth as so much as I do. He was there for me. He was there when I was at my lowest. He was always there for me. Always is there for me. And that is why he has my highest respects. And why I would do anything to make sure that his people stay safe. And why I fought so fiercely to get Ice back.
That makes sense.
I would do the same for anybody.
I want to do that one day. I want to be there to protect people. And I know if I keep practicing and keep learning, I can do that too.
Of course. And from one thing that I've learned, you have the hardest job out of everybody. It's easy to fight. It's easy to learn magic. Your job, your talent, you're the healer. And there will be times where unfortunately you won't be able to save people. And that'll be the biggest weight on your heart. I've seen good healers crack because they failed to save somebody. But we can fight as hard as we can because we know you have our backs. We put our faith in our healers. Like any foundation, everything needs to work together for us to stand strong. Mages support the fighters. Fighters protect everyone behind them. And healers help those that fall. You're going to help so many people in so many ways. You might never get the glory because the fighters always get that. Not the mages, it's always the fucking fighters. But your importance can never be overshadowed. Because when people make plans to go on little raids or go on little missions, one of the first things that people always will notice that we don't have enough healers on their team. And that's where your importance will shine. You will help give people a chance to write their stories by keeping them alive. And that is the greatest power that I could ever imagine.
I can't wait to
I
help
know it will be
people.
hard on you. You already have, thankfully. I saw you helping so many people back in Redwall. You were healing as many as you could. And don't bank on any failures as you doing bad. You're using magical healing. Magic always has a chance for things to go wrong. But the fact is, you're there trying. And so many people, if you would have noticed how many people were fighters, how many people were mages, how many people were around the healers building, but then noticed how many healers there actually are. Healing is a
wasn't a lot.
very hard job. Exactly. Healing is a very hard job because so many people are not strong enough to take on that responsibility. Because it's so much easier to fight. It's so much easier to cast spells. It is hard to learn how to heal people and keep them alive and to bear that weight and responsibility if they live or die.
Mm.
And that is why I am so proud of you. For everything that you've been through, you still continue to fight to help people stay alive. And that is why I am proud of you. I see your struggles. I see everything that you've gone through and everything that you're going through. And I hope you know that I do not see you as a resource. I do not see you as only a healer. I see you as a good-hearted soul that genuinely wants to help.
Yeah. After seeing everything that happened at the manor before Ice was saved, before you guys saved Ice, we would get hurt a lot, especially from the callers. I think that's my main reason of wanting to help people and wanting to be there for people. Nobody was there for me, so I want to be there for other people. I mean, I get why nobody helped me out back then. It was fight for yourself, fend for yourself. Everybody was scared.
Yeah. And that is where that bravery comes in. Why you are braver than most. And that is why I'm eternally thankful for the life and challenges that you want to bear. That is why I'm eternally thankful for how many times Poppy has saved my life. And now we have one more person to help the healers bear that burden, to help them, and to have someone they can count on. That is another reason why I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, my boy. And you're gonna I can only say that you're just gonna continue to make me more proud.
I want to keep making that happen. I don't care if people aren't proud of me 24/7. I know that people make mistakes and it's always possible to happen, but I want to continue making people happy and making people proud, even if it's not at me, but towards each other.
And this is where I see that wonderful good soul. Not many people say those kinds of things. Only the people that I try to keep in close company. And I'm proud of every single one of you for trying to work together to make a better future for each other. The worlds are always going to be in danger, and troubles will always come knocking at our doors. But when we stand together and we fight together and we work together, we can overcome the challenges that come our way.
Mm.
Sorry. Poppy just sent me a message, and I'm just gonna reply to it real quick.
Ugh. Water break. While you're doing that, I'm gonna fix my play space. There we go.
Poppy was just sending me some mental images of a new look she might try out. She... I love that woman with everything I am. She's priceless. In any case, though, I'm really glad we could have this talk.
I'm glad we
And
could
I hope in
too.
the coming days... Yeah. I hope in the coming days, when this place continues to be filled with all of our friends and family, I hope that this place can stand for as long as possible. And I hope everybody continues to see this place as a safe haven, or a, well, safer place than most. The more we work together, the more we can build up this place and make it our own. And if you ever want to help with the Glass City stuff, I got my contribution pages. And if you want to write stuff down to help out, then by all means. And you can work together with people that are the same way. If you want to help with healing stuff, you can speak with Amber. Amber is kind of the one in charge of managing a lot of the medical stuff. And Poppy does alchemy, so if you want to help her with that stuff, you can help her with that too. No matter what contributions that you want to do, no matter how small, every little bit helps. even if it's just being there for people.
Alright.
I think with that, we'll leave things on a good note. I gotta get back to some paperwork and, well, if anything, that key that you got, you can go check out your room. I left it bare bones for now, but I put what I thought in it would be nice. Big comfy bed, and a couple little extra things in there just for you. But I thought you might like. And if you don't like them, you can obviously just toss them and whatever else. And you can just put in a request form for anything else that you might like.
Yep.
All right.
Well,
So,
I think whatever you put in there will be fine and good. Thank you.
you're welcome. Come here, my boy. Come here. Love you, kiddo.
Thank you for being there for me.
Of course. And thank you for being there for me. The two-way street. All right. You head on over and let me know how it looks. I'll just be right over there. Now, you'll see Julian go back over to his desk. He continues his work. He waves to you as you head off, and he continues to do his paperwork. A couple more angels and elementals come and continue to hand him more paperwork, and you can just hear the as he has to continue to do more and more paperwork. But he gets some help. He delegates and everything else. And that key, the key that you have in your hand, it's enchanted glass. You know by now the enchanted glass of this city is very strong, so you don't have to worry about that little sucker breaking. And it's magically encoded to you. It doesn't count as an attunement item, so you don't have to worry about that, but that key is yours and you cannot lose it. But you know that key goes towards the big tower. And he did say that you can go check it out. Curiosity might get a little bit to you. You can go see it now if you want.
Kind of curious on what this room looks like.
And as you walk, the angels and elementals continue to go about their day, giving you happy little smiles and nods and waves. The city so vibrant and full of life. You're home now. Can't help but feel there's a little bit of comfort with each step that you take. It's not like Mr. B's mansion where you have to worry about, oh, am I going to do something wrong? Or, no, I got to do this and that of the daily chores and whatnot. Here, you're free to walk these streets. You're free to go where you want. You're free to do exactly what you want. Within limits, though. Because it's a place where everybody works together. You see angels, you see elementals, and you see a couple of the slaves that were freed from Mr. B as well. Continue about, and some of them working at the stalls, wanting to do marketing and have fun interacting with people, putting the skills that they were forced to learn into other things to make them happy. They all have smiles on their faces, even if they're working hard.
I'm glad everybody was able to find a place here. I think I'm really gonna enjoy it.
One of the freed slaves works at the little bookstore over on the right, and they wave to you. Hey, Junebug!
Hi.
It was one of the ones that had to work at Mr. B's library for managing the books and the like. And now it looks like they're able to just enjoy their books instead of forcing the slave over them.
I'm glad that they enjoy what they do now. I'm glad everybody is finding their talents and hobbies here. Everybody deserves it.
And as you come up the stairs, the glimmering tower of glass is on the right. And you know that your room is in there. Somewhere. But it's in there. First, up
Somewhere.
that big massive door.
Let's hope it's easy to find. Or I'm gonna get lost. I should have asked Julian for a map.
Funny enough, as you thumb over the key, you might think, oh, there's like a number or a letter or something on there. Ironically, no. It's just a simple key. Well, magical glass key.
Oh,
And it doesn't look like there would be any telling tales of like, oh, which is my room or anything else. Maybe your name will be on a door or something.
I hope that there is my name on the door or something like that. There is nothing on this key. I'm gonna get lost. I already know it. Oh well. It's a really big tower.
Into this big open space, a lot of the larger elementals make their way through, making sure not to step on anybody or overheat anybody with their flames. You can hear off to the left the whirring and clanking of the engineering department working away on the cannons. And then you hear somebody go, "Son of a bitch!" at the medical wing. Somebody probably needed to get their wings put back in place. Casual banter, but nothing too crazy.
Well, that person definitely got hurt really badly.
One thing will probably cross your mind: why the fuck did he have to put so many stairs for this big, massive door?
There's a lot of stairs. Why? Oh, I guess most people fly around here.
Funny enough, you say that, and an angel and an elemental both fly in and out of this place. They go up and down the stairs with ease.
This is what I get for being too scared of the rune.
And as you make your way to the door, something kind of piques your mind. There's no door handles. There's no way to look like you get in. How the heck did you get in here? Ironically, as you're thinking of that, another angel comes in and walks up to the door, and just kind of like like a little portal opens up for them, and they just go right inside. The door itself doesn't seem to be opened, but more so as a magical conduit for portal magic.
Huh.
As the closer you get, the key in your hand glows a little bit more, as it's almost reacting to the door.
What?
And when you get close enough, a little portal opens up.
That is so cool.
You would take a step through that portal, and there's a door with your name on it. And, funny
yes,
enough,
door.
a keyhole.
Huh. Door sounds. Thank you.
Key goes in, turns without a problem, and the door itself opens. And when you step into your room, it is really peaceful. The bottom wood, a deep cherry, much to match the brown color of your hair. And Julian figured that you being so landlocked, stuck in a mansion nowhere near the waterside, that this room has, funny enough, a very nautical theme to it. There are little wood carvings of some boats around, and I know you're inside of it. You're inside of a tower, but you can smell the sea breeze. There's a window that opens to the ocean right outside of the glass city itself. You can kind of get the idea. It's probably an illusion, as you probably like go out to the window, and yeah, it's an illusion, and just kind of giving you the look of the ocean that's off the way. But it's still there. It's still a beautiful sight to see. You can lean out the window and look around and see the sights and smells and sounds of the ocean nearby. Well, the freshwater ocean, but the room itself, though, has its own little kitchen. Some of the Glass City technology of the flameless stoves are there with the heated glass. So if you ever wanted to cook yourself something, it's always available. Little cold box for food. So if you're ever hungry, you can always make yourself whatever food that you want. Bathroom. Oh, and you look at the bathroom, it's kind of the things that would be more so. It's like you think Mr. B himself would only be able to use these kind of things. You're used to probably like, I don't know, a wash bucket and a cloth, but no, this is a full blown bathtub. He's giving you a bathroom, like, and some of those fancy like water flush toilets and big fancy bathtub, and the water comes out of it warm. You're not having to bathe in cold water anymore. You can have a nice warm bath. And you can see right on the shelves, soaps, all manner of cleaning products for you. And specifically on the bottles themselves, it's literally Beastkin shampoo designed to help keep your hair clean, your fur clean. And there's a toothbrush with little alchemy toothpaste, and everything you want is right here. Everything you could want. And a little razor too, if you ever wanted to keep yourself clean. You are getting an age after all. Guess he thought ahead of time. You leave the bathroom to take a look at the rest of this place, and you'll notice it's not just not just the kitchen and the bathroom and everything else. These have separate rooms. The bathroom has its own separate room. The kitchen has its own separate room. You even have a little living quarters like a little living room with tables and a big comfy couch. He'd jump on it and just to see how comfy it is, and you can tell he put some love in making sure it's cozy. Oh, is it ever cozy? With blankets on top of them if you ever wanted to snuggle up and be cozy. But then you look around the area a little bit more, and what catches your eye, and your eyes go wide, a massive bookshelf. 2, 3, 4? 4 bookshelves all around this little area.
Oh.
And he's even alphabetized them. And made sure that if you wanted to find something in particular, there's a little ledger right by the right on the desk. If you needed to find something, everything's right there. Learning your alphabets, learning standards of magic, anything that would be for the common knowledge learning. Nothing too advanced, but obviously he keeps that in the library. And when you look over to the books, in the last door to the room is to your bedroom, because you can see an incredibly comfy looking bed. And it's a double too, so you got room to spread out and relax. And inside, there's a closet. And you can see all manners of different clothes that he decided to get. Just all manner of different attires and all manner of different fancy clothing. Not the standard like, oh, fancy that slaves wear. This clothes you would look at and you would kind of like hold them up to yourself to see how they'd fit on you. So I got your size right too.
Oof.
And you look at them in the mirror, the big fancy mirror that he has off to the left, and you don't look like a slave in this fancy clothing. You look like a refined gentleman. Something that you'd always kind of hoped that you'd be able to look like. Those fancy parties you were forced to attend, forced to serve, and everything else. You always saw the fancier clothing that those nobles would wear or those dealers would wear. They looked so free in their fancy clothing, but these clothes are now yours. You can wear those fancy clothes. You can feel as wonderful as you want in the clothes that he's provided. And you look off even a little more to the right, a weapons rack, where you can hang up your rapier and hang up any other weapons that you might want to wear, that you might want to have. Even an armor rack, if you wanted to wear something a little simpler. In fact, and actually sitting on it right now, you see armor. It's a chain shirt, light and nimble. It would easily go under your clothing, under your shirt. It might not be the greatest of protection for armor, but it's armor. Something that only those of like the higher ups would wear. And funny enough, it's not even the same. It's better quality than even the guards that would wear. The ones that were forced to look after you. All they wore was like leathers and cheaper armors. This is chainmail. This is a chain shirt. This is fancy. And you hold it, it's light. You could probably wear this easily all day and never feel its encumbrance. All of this for you. Everything here is yours. And you let that sink in. Yours. Not Mr. B's. Not someone else's. Yours. And you know full well, nobody's going to take this from you. This is yours and yours alone. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe a great debt. This is yours.
You know, I was right. I really am gonna like it here.